Guys, today we just got a dump of a bunch of new details about Starfield. I'm so excited. So today you get post-Jim Chad recording a video about the new exciting details we just learned about in Starfield. Let's get started. Guys, welcome back to Gaming Your Own Way. My name is Chad, and today we're going to talk about some new details that just dropped about Starfield. These details are from a new interview with Todd Howard. I will put a link to the interview down in the description in case you want to watch it for yourself. But think of this video as the highlight reel, some of the details that we got from that interview in a more condensed format. Well, I don't know, you guys know I like to ramble, so maybe it's not so condensed. To try to condense it though, remember, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. It really helps out the channel and your engagement matters so much. While you're at it, comment down below, are you excited for Starfield? Are you excited for any of these new details that we just learned? All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about the most important one, the detail that everyone's been asking, the one that everyone wanted to know, the most important question they asked Todd Howard. Will there be space fishing? Guys, no space fishing. I'm sorry. Todd did try to say that how do you define fishing? Yes, there will apparently be aquatic life on these planets that you can visit. You can kill them, but you cannot take a fishing rod, go to a body of water, and retrieve fish. I mean, just get the Game Pass, play Starfield on day one, and then whenever you want to take a break and you want to do some fishing, go play Sea of Thieves. Or any other game that involves fishing. I don't know. Go play Skyrim. Skyrim has fishing in it now. Yeah, sorry guys. No space fishing involved. All right, but now let's get into some of the meatier topics they talked about. And one of the big one was about the explorability and the thousands of planets that are going to be in the game. If you've noticed, I posted a video on this channel and over on TikTok on my concern is there's going to be thousands of planets. And what is going to be the purpose of these planets? Are they all going to have stuff on them? Are they going to be meaningful things to do? And we got some clarity around that and some clarity behind what does it mean to be meaningful. And I will confess, whenever I asked that, I did have kind of a narrow-minded, my own perspective view on what meaningful means whenever you visit a planet. So one important detail that Todd shared with us is that only 10% of these planets are going to be inhabited. Now, I know there are a ton of you that were like me that were thinking, there's a lot of planets, do we need to go to them? And if they're not inhabited, what is the point? And if you're thinking that, I completely understand. Because I agree, and aside from resource mining, I probably won't visit a lot of these barren planets. But, very important, like a traditional Bethesda game, this is applying and trying to entice all sorts of different types of gamers, including the exploration gamers. The gamers that love No Man's Sky for the sheer vastness of it, to go to a planet and to be like, I might be the only person to experience this planet. That's not something that I get off on, but those people exist. There are people that really love that, and this game gives you the option to do it. And here's the thing, that's one thing I love about Bethesda games, and that's a takeaway I want from you, is you may look at this as a negative. There's a lot of empty planets out there. Why should I be excited about that? You don't have to go to those, but the people that want that have the option. Bethesda is giving us options, and options are usually not a bad thing. If you don't want to go to a barren planet, skip it. If you're a big exploration guy and you want to go see what all is on this planet, you have that option to do so, and I think that's great. That also makes me feel good about something else that I've talked about. We know that there are more human-constructed elements in Starfield than in both Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined. However, in Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined, there's roughly 700 locations, and so I didn't really need to use my math degree to know that we have 1,000 planets and at least a minimum of 700 locations, which means what? One location per planet? Like, that sounds awful. I go to this giant planet to do one thing. That's not cool, right? But if only 10% of them are habitable, that means those 10% of planets are likely going to be rich and full of content, human-created content for us to go see. So that makes me feel a lot better that whenever I land on the planets that I want to be on, the ones that have lots of creatures and people on them, I am going to have things to do. Another thing that is worthwhile that Todd mentioned that I'm very excited about is that these 90% of planets that are barren are not going to have a bunch of randomly generated abandoned buildings and ruins on them, because that would break the immersion for someone that's an explorer. They go to this empty moon that's just desolate, zero gravity, there's nothing living on there, yet there's like 30 abandoned buildings that you find. Like, that wouldn't make a ton of sense in terms of just like lore and immersion. And again, that makes me feel good that those human-created locations are being placed in the places that we, or at least I, want to go to. Something else that we learned about that I'm really excited for is there are going to be multiple biomes potentially on a planet. That's something we don't think about, but that's not very realistic about No Man's Sky. If you go to a desert planet on No Man's Sky, the entire planet is a desert. You go to a Hoth-based planet in No Man's Sky, the entire thing is a frozen world. Everyone on Earth knows that the environment you live in is not the environment everyone else lives in, obviously. So it makes sense that near the equator, there's going to be a desert biome potentially. Near the poles, there might be some icy biomes. You might come across some jungle biomes or some very temperate, heavily dense forested areas. And these areas will come equipped with native wildlife that seem to make sense for that biome. I think that adds a new level of immersion to an exploration part. It makes me a little more excited about the exploration aspect than No Man's Sky. I enjoy exploring No Man's Sky whenever, I just need some chill time to play, but like I go to a planet, I see the desert area and I'm like, okay, why do I need to explore this entire planet when the entire planet looks exactly the same? Hey guys, Future Chad here. One thing while I was editing that I realized I did not mention is that when exploring planets, there will not be a rover or any land-based vehicles that you will use in order to traverse the planet. You will also not be able to ride the animals as mounts. With a planet being massive, that may sound like a concern, but Todd has said that the game feels good if you use the jump pack to traverse the planet and use it as, a means of transport. But he said that the worlds were created so that it feels good to traverse it on foot. Similar to how hardcore RPG players like to traverse Skyrim on foot or Fallout 4, it sounds like these planets won't feel bad to traverse on foot. And if you need to go extraordinarily long distances, I assume you can just get into your starship and fly to that other biome or area of the planet. It may be a cause for concern for some people. I'm not concerned about it yet. I'll reserve judgment until I actually play the game. All right, back to you, Past Chad. The next thing that Todd kind of mentioned rather briefly was there are going to be lots of different animals and some of them are going to be hostile. This should come as no surprise to any Bethesda player. We've been attacked by wolves and deathclaws and dragons across all of our different Bethesda games. But one thing that I thought was really interesting that Todd Howard brought up was that, usually you have some animals that are passive or are friendly or docile, and then you have aggressive ones. If you're playing No Man's Sky, there's not really an interaction between any of these animals. But as we've seen historically in Bethesda games, that is sometimes the case. If you're playing Skyrim, you will see wolves go and ambush a fox, or you'll see wolves go and attack an elk or something like that, or a dragon will start taking out a bunch of wolves. We can expect that from Starfield as well. In Starfield, hostile animals are hostile truly to everyone potentially. And apparently something that they struggled with, and I don't know if this is going to remain in the game or if when they said they struggled with this, that means they fixed it. And I don't think this is something that needs fixing, is there were some predators on these planets that were so bad that you could just be wandering around and you just start to see a bunch of dead, docile, peaceful animals. I personally hope that doesn't get removed because I think that's really cool. That tells you, oh crap, there's something big here. So I think that element is really exciting to see. On that note, it was asked, Fallout has Deathclaws. Skyrim has, the dragons. Is Starfield going to have a notable predator? It's a staple predator. Todd kind of evaded the question for good reason. I mean, he doesn't want to give away any spoilers. Basically said, you'll have to play the game. But he did, I don't know that this was a slip, but he did say, there's one that's really bad, which tells us that there is going to be a big bad, a handcrafted, terrifying creature. My guess is it's going to be on one of the planets where you do the main quest. But yes, there is going to be a stable character, and he said there are going to be some generated scary characters. So really excited with these new details about the fauna on these different planets. All right, let's move on. There were some questions asked about companions. First off being, what does romance look like in the game? Who can I romance? And the answer is pretty simple, your 4 main Constellation companions. I'm sure along the way more DLC will come out, mods will add in characters that will have romance options, but at the start of the game, on launch, there will be 4 characters that you can romance. Another question that was asked is, if you get annoyed by companions, if you like to play the game solo, can you do that, or are you required to have companions with you? The answer is you can play it completely solo. You can send your companions off to different various spaceships and outposts and never see them again. And very much like Fallout 4, Fallout 3, I think all of the Fallout games, there are perks and skills that promote solo play. So if you're playing by yourself, I think that there was a perk in Fallout 4 where if you were playing by yourself, you could get an extra 30 carrying capacity. Things like that. That will be present in Starfield. Another thing we learned that I don't think is surprising is that these characters, these 4 companions, are going to be very crucial to the game. One might call them essential in terms of Bethesda games. Hence, if you get annoyed by them, you cannot space them out the airlock. You can reassign them to different planets and different things to do so that they're not in your face all the time, but you cannot just outright kill them. Essential NPCs are still a thing. Also worth noting and interesting to learn is in this game, your relationship with companions will be affected by the choices that you make throughout the game. So say one of your companions is essentially a paladin. If you go off the rails and start becoming a space pirate, that person may not want to have positive interactions with you anymore. You may not be able to romance the paladin and still be a space pirate. So long are the days of being renegade in the streets and paragon in the sheets. While we're talking about piracy and spaceships, there were two important details that I learned about space and crafting and spaceships. One is, this should come as no surprise, is that the crafting system for spaceships is going to be very intense and it's going to be very resource heavy. What that means is expect that to be an in-game mechanic. Don't expect to be able to outfit the starship of your dreams in the very beginning of the game. But honestly, like, do you want that? I mean, we want to be building towards something. We want the gameplay to last a good amount of time. That's just part of playing a Bethesda RPG. Now, on the note of piracy, we did learn you can jump into a ship, you can take over a ship, you can kill the crew, the ship is now yours. One thing that was asked is, can we outfit the ship how we want? Can we customize it? Can we make that ship our own? The answer is yes, with an asterisk. You can customize the ship and do whatever you want to it, but you do have to register the ship and pay a fee whenever you register it. And it sounds like this fee will be of moderate levels of expense. Todd said that the idea behind this is that it's going to preserve the in-game economy. And honestly, that kind of makes sense, especially with how expensive it sounds like it is to upgrade and buy things for ships. It makes sense that selling things for your ships is also expensive. So you can completely break the game by going out and capture like maybe 5 different ships, sell everything on them so that you can upgrade your ship. It sounds like that will not be necessarily the best money-making strategy, as you are going to have to pay to customize and sell things on your ship, which will offset that payout that you would get. Honestly, I'm super okay with that. At least I'm super okay with it right now until I take over a super cool ship and I don't have the money to customize it. That being said, you can still fly the ship around. You can still use the ship without paying for it. You just cannot customize it until you pay for it. And if you're thinking this is unfair, this is no different than No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, you either pay for a new ship, or if you find a ship, you have to pay in terms of resources to start fixing all of the modules to make it usable. The last thing that we want to talk about are going to be outposts. Outposts, not shockingly enough, if you've played Fallout, are going to be extraordinarily resource heavy. They are going to be expensive to put together, so it sounds like you are going to want to be selective on where you are going to build your outposts. Is it possible when you land on a planet to just immediately start building and start crafting an outpost? The answer is yes, but it's not going to be the outpost of your dreams. It's not going to be the coolest outpost. It's not going to be one you're going to be taking pictures of and sharing on Twitter or Instagram. To make an outpost that you're proud of and you want to share and make pictures of and is going to really do in-game functions that are really going to benefit you as a player, you are going to have to invest some serious resources into them. Again, that is going to make the longevity of crafting more entertaining in the in-game as well. It also sounds like the game is going to have the caravan perk from Fallout 4 that will enable you to connect outposts together so you can share your resources. Sounds like that's going to be essential, and honestly, I'm pretty okay with that. Especially given in No Man's Sky, one of the biggest annoyances is always you're not carrying around enough of a specific resource. One thing that was also brought up is if you're sending resources around from place to place, can you create basically a market for your resources and use that to fund your in-game economy? Can you make money and turn that into a career for your character in No Man's Sky? Sorry, in Starfield. Todd said the answer is yes. Resource mining can be a very lucrative process. If you create a good outpost and you create a good system that works together, you can turn resource mining into a lucrative process. All right, guys, those were the big highlights that I got. Again, I will put the link down in the description below for you guys to go see the original video, the interview, and you can go watch the full thing if you want to. Guys, what do you think? Are you excited for Starfield? Are you excited for any of these new details? Do these make you feel happy, or are you now even more concerned for some reason about the game? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button. You're still here at the end of the video, so you liked the video. Make sure to hit the like button. Your engagement is huge for the channel. While you're hitting the like button, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notifications from new videos like this. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in a later video.